Our first reading from Sirach ties in with the gospel, leads us into the whole theory of what Jesus is speaking about in the gospel. So both of them are matched together in this idea of integrity with faith, and from the beginning of everything, from our desires all the way through our speech and our actions. So Sirach will say the fruit of the tree shows the kind of care that it has received. So when you see the fruit, you'll know what kind of care that tree has received. He says one's speech discloses the thoughts of the mind, it reveals that. And he says, praise no one before he speaks, for it is then that people are tested. And that's Sirach's way of saying, don't judge a book by its cover. The cover may look beautiful, it might look interesting, but you don't know until you actually get to the inside of that book to see what it's like. Jesus will talk about the very same thing, use the same imagery of the fruit tree, bad fruit, good fruit on the tree. Then he will also speak at the very end, from the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so this whole idea of integrity is important for faith. So first of all, I went to the dictionary, Merriam-Webster's, and looked up the word integrity for the different definitions. There are 4 basic definitions. First one is a firm adherence to a code, such as a moral code. Number 2, unimpaired condition or soundness of condition. Number 3, the quality or state of being complete or undivided. And then 4, honesty. And so all these together, 4 nuances, but all come together to our understanding of what integrity is all about. I'll use an example, first of all, of integrity of all the actions, everything that we do, and then we'll talk a little bit about faith and how integrity and faith come together. So I'll use the example that they use here. I'll use a fruit tree. So I buy a farm, little farm, and there are golden, delicious apples there, okay? And there's 20 fruit trees. But they've been neglected for about 10 years. So they're wiry, they're overgrown. There might be some fruit, but a little small fruit. Some trees don't have any fruit at all. So I have a desire for golden delicious apples, okay? I like them, they're good. Eat one a day, keeps the doctor away, right? All that good stuff. So that desire is good. It is a good desire. Now, how I go about, making that desire come to reality is very important. And so if I say, well, I'll just go steal them from my neighbor's farm, that's taking that good desire and then using wrong means to fulfill that desire. So when Isaiah, or when Sirach and Jesus are speaking about what comes from the heart, all the intentions that come from our desires have to be good, and our speech and our actions. So I want golden delicious apples, so that's a good desire. My next thing is I start engaging my intentions. How can I fulfill this desire in a good way? I know, I will go read up on apples, okay? I'll go to the internet, I'll get books, and I'll read up on how to care for apples. Next part, I will actually engage myself in speech with some people that know, maybe an apple farmer, go to the apple farmer, engage them in conversation, okay? How do I do this? When do I prune these trees? What kind of fertilizer is best for apple trees? What kind of product do I use to control the weeds and the bugs, all that kind of stuff? Then the last part of it is, okay, once I learn all of that, okay, get all that packaged, then I go out and do the work. I actually go out, prune the trees, fertilize it, and hopefully in a year I get some nice golden delicious apples. So the whole process from beginning to end, from the desire to the intentions, to my speech, to the actions, all are lined up with the good intention from the very beginning. And so this is what Jesus is going after, because when we lie and when we don't have that integrity, everything begins to break down. We'll see this in just a moment when I get into faith. So the notion of sin really disrupts, the integrity of who we are as people. First of all, with ourselves, and our own honesty with ourselves, and then on our relationship with God and our relationship with others. And so when we look at faith, and that's why Jesus, he will always talk about this. And he'll talk about the hypocrisy and the lack of integrity among the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, the chief priest, the high priest, his own apostles. He will actually go after them on their hypocrisy and their lack of integrity, and his followers in general, all the disciples. He says that today. How can you go and say, I'm going to take the plank out of your eye or take the splinter out of your eye when you got a plank in your own? That's a lack of integrity. That's a lack of honesty. Not recognizing your own sinfulness and pretending like you're going to be the great person and do all this good stuff for somebody else. Now, coming to the gift of faith, there's two levels of faith. We are born with what I call a natural faith. It is the most common thing that we do, believe it or not. I'll explain that in a moment. So we have this gift of natural faith. We're created in the image and likeness of God, and we have a natural faith. Then we also receive supernatural faith. Okay, this is the grace from God. This is what happens to us at baptism. And then all the sacraments that we receive, our prayer life, our devotions, all those things that we do beyond that, that grace builds up. The saints have always said, grace builds on nature. St. Thomas Aquinas, grace builds on nature. God gives us our basic nature, which is good. And then he imposes upon us, okay, through the gift of his love, the grace that builds up the person in faith. And so we begin with that basic level of faith. So it is the most common thing we do. If I ask you what you had for breakfast this morning, you might say I had pancake and sausage, okay? I ask you what you had for breakfast this morning, you might say coffee and donuts, okay? I had blueberry Cheerios, a glass of orange juice, and 3 cups of coffee, okay? What do you think of that? Great breakfast. Breakfast of champions, okay? Now, none of us were at each other's breakfast table to actually witness what we ate. But I trust you, I trust you, and you trust me. Okay, think about this. Speech, our actions, our learning, our teaching, the economy, commerce, politics, business, everything is based on the natural gift of faith. When I go online, I want to buy some product online, I want to buy fishing hooks, I have faith that the product that I chose is the product that I'm going to get. Otherwise, business and commerce would fall apart. If I don't get it and they lie to me and I get a bad product, I'm not going to do business with them anymore. So all of our communication, everything that we do in our human activity is based on this natural gift of faith. And so if the natural gift of faith can be degraded by lying, then our gift of supernatural faith also can be degraded, that we lose that as well. So if I, in fact, did not have blueberry Cheerios this morning, okay, and I lied to you, you would not know that today. But over time, you're going to notice the inconsistencies of what I have said and actually what I have done. So you're going to see a discrepancy between my intentions and my speech and what my actions are. So at some point, Father Raymond will say, Father Bob hates blueberry Cheerios. Oh, he eats oatmeal every day, okay? So if I lie there and you find that out, okay, you're going to question then a lot of things that I say. I'm going to destroy that communication and that trust that we have, that integrity in our communication. And if that happens there, are you going to trust me in faith? So the whole thing begins to break down. So our integrity is so important because it has to be connected with our faith. And that's what Jesus so often connects with, especially when he talks about the Pharisees and their hypocrisy. He even say at some point, do what they say, but don't do what they do. Because there is this breakdown of integrity of who they really are. So this is important for our faith life. And so when we have this integrity, everything falls in line. So my desires are good, then my intentions have to be formed to be good for that desire, then my thought process has to be good, my speech has to be good and genuine, real and truthful, and then my actions follow through. And then we can see in the works exactly everything that has happened. As Sirach said, do not trust a person until they speak, because then you'll actually hear what is in their mind, in their heart, and in their intentions. And it's a very good lesson for us to learn. We start the Lenten season this coming Wednesday. We're going to take on our own practices. We'll add extra prayers. We'll give up things. We'll do extra sacrifices, whatever we want to do. We'll take on extra penances. We choose to do something during the Lenten season. Why do we do that? We do that to grow stronger in our faith and in our relationship with God and one another. That's the ultimate purpose, okay? So we can do all those things, and I think this gospel, and I think the readings this week really are a great lead-in to the Lenten season, so that we can actually take on whatever religious practices we're going to do, sacrifice, penances, and whatever, to become better people. That we can have that integrity from the desire all the way through to the action. That our faith and our integrity, what we say, what we do, what we think, and how we treat people is all on the same level. So today, as we prepare for the Lenten season, we thank the Lord for all the blessings he has given to us, and Christ always gives us those blessings and the power of his grace to accomplish this. You know, he would never ask us to do this if it was impossible to do. And I'll leave with this, that when Jesus speaks, he often says this, that, you know, he talks about how important the truth is. As a matter of fact, he'll identify the truth with himself. My words are spirit and truth. I am the way and the truth and the life. When he comes to Pilate, when he's being tried, okay, he doesn't back down. He goes, my words are truth. And whoever listens to the truth will be set free. Pilate says, what is truth? Well, truth is standing right in front of him, and he doesn't even know it. And so Jesus is saying that truth is me. Truth is God. And if we have God in us, we will have that integrity. And all that we do will be done in the truth. So we pray that during the Lenten season, we work on our integrity and faith to deepen that all of our desires, our thoughts, our speech, and all of our actions may be whole, undivided, and good, so that they will bear many, many good fruits. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. Amen.